TV, I'm about to get ready to do a very deep breakdown. It's actually like a third part to my whole aspect of the whole winter storm with Texas. But I'm gonna get deep on this because now we know the state is reopening and it represents nothing but the great reset. You know what I'm saying? And as you see, I already put it in both the videos breaking down about the whole aspect of Texas having its own power grid. Remember when I show you about the Drake, I show you about the athletes wanting to leave Texas and Ray, and etc. Now you know James Harden. Remember, like I think this a couple of weeks ago, a week or two ago, James Harden had beat Houston Rockets. Remember they gave him a tribute. And you like, you know what I mean? It's so deep because when you understand the name James Harden, which is deep, notice how they did that trade for Westbrook to bring forth John Wall. Remember when I was talking about the wall? You know what I mean? The protection. And you know how I was talking about the name John derives from the name Jacob. Same with James Harden, I'm sorry. James Harden, the name James derives from Jacob. So when you understand that Harden aspect being the rock, hence why number 13 being James Harden gave them a triple double on their head, and basically he gave them 13 straight loss. This is not a coincidence. And I'm about to delve deep into this because the number 13, if you understand that, we already know about the 13 satanic bloodlines, but 13 represents the 7 being the completion and 6 being the number of man. You know what I'm saying? Bring them together, it represents the rebellion against the spiritual law and order. You get what I'm saying? But I'm going to delve deep into this because, as we know, a lot of you may know already, like how Texas, which is so beautiful about this, because Texas has its own power grid. They don't get electricity from another state. That's why they had the whole blackout, because they have their own power grid. And we've already put it in there about Public Enemy saying, what are you going to do when the power grid goes down? When the grid goes down. You know what I'm saying? And I'm about to delve deep into that because all Texas going through the whole aspect of the power grid being shut out and having a blackout that represented nothing but as it's written in Mark 13:25, and the stars of heaven shall fall, and the powers that are in heaven shall be shaken. Remember how I said Texas is nothing but the space city? This is where NASA was really pushed through Lyndon B. Johnson. You know what I'm saying? And then when you look at it too, as it's written after that, then shall they see the Son of Man coming in the clouds with great power and glory. Remember how I said how Texas had the power outage, and now they going through the great reset. And I'm about to delve this into this because remember a couple weeks ago, like a week ago, you had no, I'm sorry, 3 days ago. I'm sorry, this past Sunday was the Bloody Sunday March that happened. What was this back in 1965 on March 7th? And the Bloody Sunday March, remember John Lewis led the march. You know what I'm saying? And Selma into Montgomery March. And you remember the whole aspect of him being beaten and all of that. But I'm about to get deep into this because this is the 56 years, this is the first time John Lewis has never been at that march. And you remember how I just said how the powers of heaven shall be shaken, and then the Son of Man should come in the clouds with great power and glory. Hence why John Lewis was not at this march, because he's deceased. And I'm about to tap deep into that because the whole name John, like I've been saying, derives from Jacob. You know what I'm saying? And when you understand the aspect of Lewis, the Lewis represents the stone. I mean, the Lewis is a device that's used by the Freemasons to raise large stones to require heights and set them in place with safety and precision. You know how I've been doing this in a lot of my videos is that the Messiah represents the stone that the Freemasons reject to use. You know what I'm saying? And I'm about to delve deep into that because what if you remember the whole aspect, not to digress, but if you remember the whole aspect of the Bloody Sunday March was to get voting rights so that they can have a right in the whole aspect of being considered a person in America. You know what I mean? Notice that to become basically in this basically synchronized into the system and be considered a full person. You see what I'm saying? I have a voice through voting. You get what I'm saying? Where I'm about to take this, because I'm about to take this real deep. Because when you understand that anyway, John Lewis, they already said that he basically played the role of the Messiah. You know what I'm saying? Remember, he was in Congress for 33 years. You know what I'm saying? He went through all of the persecution. He went through basically getting the skull fractured, because when you understand the whole aspect of the skull anyway, the Messiah, you remember he went to the land of Golgotha, which was nothing but the land of the skull. You know what I mean? And you remember how they already said that the whole aspect was literally nothing but him playing a role of the Messiah. This is why they call him the bodily sacrifice for Selma, for Alabama more so, and for the civil rights movement. You get what I'm saying? It gets that deep, man. And I'm about to take y'all deeper down the road, because if you know about Red River, Texas, you know what I'm saying? It's like Red River is literally nothing but like the second largest river basin in the southern Great Plains. You know what I mean? It's basically like a river that borders Texas and Oklahoma. You get what I'm saying? And when you understand the Red River, as you see, you have Egypt and you have the Sinai Peninsula, which leads over to the land of Canaan. You see what I'm saying? Mount Sinai, and you have Egypt, and you have the Red Sea between them. And then notice the Red River separates Oklahoma and Texas, man. You get where I'm going? I'm about to take it deep, because I'm saying, as you understand, we are in spiritual Egypt. You get what I'm saying? Like, this whole thing that we're living in is literally like a virtual reality, man. I'm gonna put it in that sense. Like, you get what I mean? Like, this stuff is deep, man, because we're literally living in like a virtual reality. Like, it's so crazy how we're literally in spiritual Sodom and Gomorrah, spiritual Egypt, and spiritual Babylon. You get what I mean? All in one. And what I notice about that too, which is so deep, is how Texas is called the Longhorn State. Now, when you understand the word L, all L literally means is bullhead. You know what I mean? Like, I've been breaking it down about the horns of salvation. You get what I'm saying? The whole aspect with Moses with the horns being nothing but the strong face, representing basically receiving the glory of the Most High. You know what I mean? And that's why they use the aspect of the matador to taunt the bull. That's what the whole game of the matador derives from. You get what I'm saying? And that's why you notice the Red Bull can, you have the two bulls, and you see the sun behind the two bulls, because that right there, the Red Bull is nothing but basically like the aspect. If you remember the old Looney Tune cartoons, you have the one in the white would be the angel, and the red would be the demon. And that's why they said Red Bull gives you wings, man, because Satan is the prince of air. You get what I'm saying? As it's written in Ephesians 5, if I'm not mistaken, Ephesians 5. But I'm about to take it deep, because remember back in Texas on Valentine's Day, this is the same time that we had the whole aspect of Texas having to break the outage, the power outage. If you remember Valentine's Day, um they literally just had nothing but, remember back in 1895, I'm sorry, they had a big blackout, a big winter storm. You know what I'm saying? It's that deep, man. It's that deep, because literally, as I explain how Texas is like, basically in a sense, when you understand how Texas is called the Lone Star, that represents like the Messiah aspect of like being the bright lone star. You get what I'm saying? The morning star. It's that deep, man. That's why the whole aspect was using Texas to do the Great Reset. Notice how they said Texas is opening back up. You know what I mean? Regardless of everything going on. You get what I'm saying? That's when people are like, it's not making sense, but it's all playing into their role of the Great Reset, because Texas is the state that has its own power grid. Hence the whole aspect of how I said the powers of heaven is shaken, and then the Son of Man should be revealed with the great power and glory. But I'm about to tap deep, because I'm going to delve into the aspect of Sandy Cheeks too. And it's deep because while she was in Bikini Bottom, remember how she had the astronaut suit. You know what I'm saying? Representing the space city. And you remember she had she was like in a bubble. You know what I'm saying? And she needed air to breathe. That's why she always needed her glass, basically over her head so she can breathe, her helmet. Representing the protection of the Most High. But I'm gonna delve deep into this. And if you understand the squirrel too, the squirrel is nothing but the gardener. They maintain the wilderness and etc. But I'm gonna play the clips and I'm gonna chime in. Just listen to her.
Prettiest place in the world. Oh no, I guess it deep in my heart, I'll always be a Texas girl.
You hear that? You hear that? Like, come on, man. There's no way around this. You know what I'm saying? It is too. I want to show this. Listen to what happens when they disrespect Texas.
Yeah, what's so great about dumb old Texas?
What did you say?
Texas is dumb?
Don't you dare take the name of Texas in vain!
You hear that? Notice how they mocking.
Y'all best apologize, or I'm gonna be on you like ugly on an ain't.
You'll have to catch us first.
Notice how they mocking and making fun of Texas. You get what I'm saying? But let's take it deep, because I'm gonna delve deep into to Sandy and her whole role. Pay attention to this.
Never get out of there.
We saved the town!
Yay! Let's go tell everybody.
Push!
Notice that the Alaskan bullworm, remember Texas and SpongeBob and Sandy saved Bikini Bottom from the Texas bullworm. And when you understand Revelations 8:10 through 11, and the third angel sounded, and there fell a great star from heaven, burned as if it were a lamp, and it fell upon the third part of the rivers and upon the fountains of waters, and the name of the star is called Wormwood. And the third part of the waters became wormwood, and many men in the waters died because they were made bitter. Notice why you had the bullworm destroy Bikini Bottom. You feel what I'm saying? And we already know how Sandy Cheeks, remember she taught SpongeBob karate and everything. Because if you understand the aspect of Sandy, remember she was able to go to the surface and she was able to go into the depths. And when you understand that, that represents like nothing but like the Messiah role of being able to go into heaven and go into hell, man. Having the keys of heaven and hell as it's written. You know what I'm saying? Like this stuff is that deep, man. And how big of a role Texas play in everything, you know what I'm saying? And how big of a role it's playing into everything going on. You know what I mean? And you see how they already saying they're gonna do the nothing but the Tesla is making a giant battery to plug into the Texas power grid so it can store enough energy. And you already know I'm gonna actually show you the sign of Tesla right quick, because it's so deep when you understand the aspect of Tesla. Because when you look at the logo, all that is, which is so deep, and I'm about to show it, because all of this is nothing but the whole aspect of the masonry stones that they use to basically go against the Messiah of being the cornerstone. Like the number 8 right here, as you see. You know what I'm saying? And that's actually, like I said about my last video on Kill Bill, about like how the judge, when you look at the whole hammer that they use, as it's written, the Most High said, it's not my word like a hammer that crushed the stones. But basically, notice how they basically said they become the judge. But as you see too, and you can look at that like a Baphomet too. But as you see that and you pay attention to that, it's so deep, because it all comes from the man Nikola Tesla. That's what the car really was like named after. It was like Nikola Tesla. And when you understand Nikola Tesla, he was heavy into the laws of physics and reaching the tier of the God man. If you understand that Leonardo da Vinci, the Vitruvian man, which represents the God man coming together, you know what I'm saying? That's all it represented, was representing the mastering of creating the perfect man. Hence the whole God Tower. You know what I'm saying? Of reaching a peak level of the man, of reaching God tier level. That's what all of that represented. That's why you see Nikola. It makes sense, because when you look at Texas, remember I just said how they what's his name? Ellen Moose said that they're gonna use Tesla and they're gonna give a lot of energy into Texas. You see what I'm saying? The Great Reset. You know what I mean? This stuff is deep, man. But I really just want to tap into that. I just really want to just like kind of like, I ain't gonna necessarily say sum it up, because there's always more things going on. But as for now, actually, this is the part that I'm going to really kind of close out on the whole Texas ordeal. But much more be coming. So, like I said, I might be making another video soon concerning Texas. But just stay tuned, because much more info is dropping. Peace.